Okay, so I think so we can slowly starting now. Hello to everyone. So not many of us yet, but so for the starting, we have a quite busy week. Last week, the big update with allow us to change AI engine to the new version and switch to over the old one. The new version, that the new one is like making prediction a lot faster for the new neurons. And we have some updates on the wallet side that wasn't well at the beginning, but now everything is sorted with the version 0.3.1. Friday 13, I hope it will be lucky. So hello to everyone. Can you hear me, guys? Say something for now.
Hear you
Yep.
good.
Loud and clear there, Will.
Okay, that's perfect. So, like I say, it's not many of us here for now, but probably the rest will be joining in the meantime. We have today we have JC, and I would like have bring him on stage with his project. He is preparing some e-paper for the Satori. I don't know you guys will see that. He already showed that on the Discord already. It's kind of like e-paper LCD, if I can say like that, to showing and updating the Satori price connected to the wallet and a lot different stuff. JC, can you say something more about this project?
Yep. Just give me one tick.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
So I stayed up last night. I got it working all on device. So I've got them running on a device that's tiny. They've got 384 kilobytes of RAM, so processing on them's like working on a really old computer. I'm just going to bring up a video. Okay. So if we can see those, I think this actually shows everything in the right orientation if I stream it like this. So these are the devices. You can see they're quite small. So prior, what we were doing is this was being processed on another device. So I'd have Python making an image, and so the image kind of looked a bit better than what's on there. So I've got a color screen as well, but these are smaller than the black and white screen, so they've got a lower resolution. This is off, so this is turned off. The screen stays on. These would update like once an hour. They're set up now. I've got them talking to some of the APIs to pull the data. This is live, but this is using the Evermore test address. So this will show you Satori, how much Evermore you've got. The little L shows that that account has a lollipop. And it's going to show current stake, current Satori version. It'll show your daily change of Satori, the Satori USDT, and the date and time. So it can have small text about half the size of these here, so it's going to fill out some of that extra area with extra information. And every hour it'll just tick and update, and yeah. So you can see they're very small, inexpensive. It's a Raspberry Pi Pico W, and it just snaps onto the screen. So it's literally, that's the computer that's running it. You
So
plug that in,
now
and
it's off basically, yeah.
yeah.
Right, right. Because I was see like, where is the power source? So that on the low stage is now it's off.
Those screens, yeah, they stay on when they're off. So once you've updated that screen doesn't change until you send an update again. It's not like a normal screen where you just continually update it. They're designed for updating periodically. So if it goes
Yeah.
and does an update, it'll clear the whole screen and then write it again.
So basically, what we need now is like kind of we plug to the power source, and that the screen will be connected to our network. And
Yeah, so it's Wi-Fi. So this basically just run it off a USB cable plugged into your anything, your PC or the wall. I can do lipos and that sort of stuff, but they're not really worth it, like cost-wise or anything benefit-wise with this device. If I was using a different device, we could get decent times out of it. But this device is really easy to configure, set up, and program. So like, it could be done at home. It's not going to need anything much. We just download some software to it and off it goes. So trying to keep it as easy as possible. I'm toying with some casing ideas, but this one here that I printed up, but I didn't get it quite right, so it didn't actually snap in. Just trying to work out how to do that.
yeah, no, that actually looks really nice, and those A paper screens, I really like them. Like, they're really clear. I don't know about the smaller version. They have the three colors: black, white, and the red. Yes.
Yeah, but the resolution's smaller again.
Yeah, it's not
So
visible like white and the black. Yeah.
no, it's I mean it's nice, but if I could get that screen in this size, it'd be much more useful. So it's very hard for me to get this right. You can see it's the same little board on the back. But this is the biggest screen they do in the form factor ready to go for this. You could obviously go bigger, but you've got to solder and muck around to get there. So the text is it's a very simple, very clear text because MicroPython just has one font on the implementation, and so I'm taking that font and either doubling or tripling its size to bring it up on there. Just doing standard image manipulation.
Yeah. So that's
Add
looks
respect on the 5 billion Evermore there.
That's the Evermore test address. So if you go to their API page for the crypto viewer, whatever it is, Cryptoscope, that's the API address and that's how much it's on there. And it has a lollipop. That's why there's an L on there.
Yeah. What's that lollipop is?
I don't know, but I got one.
Yeah, I see
I
that
think it's
before.
Kai. I think it was Kai. I'm not sure, but I've got him in a couple of my neurons.
So how you want to distribute them? Are you selling them already, or what will be the price? Did you think about that? How we go with them? Like, because probably the few people from our community will be want to order them, like, and put them on the desk and see the Satori price every day or every 5 minutes.
Yeah, just trying to work out distribution and that sort of stuff. I mean, we could open source them, and you can buy the components you need off the shelf. So we could just open source it if we wanted to do that. Otherwise, we've got to work out how to distribute it. You know, like it's probably going to almost double the price, I'd say, if you involve bringing it through people and then shipping it off again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Completely agree with you. Yeah. So the project is finished. It's ready to be like sell
I
from your
can pretty
side.
much release up details now on what to buy and start releasing the code, and then after that, it's just code changes to make that look better. So
How you guys see
it's
that project from the JC?
what's that? Sorry.
I say to other lads how you are see that project from the JC, the display for the Satori.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have microphones probably. No problem. Yeah, so maybe we'll put on the Discord or on our new Telegram channel that we like actually starting from this week, like from the 2 weeks ago, and we have 300 users there on our official Telegram channel. And yeah, if you want to keep that project open source, that would be nice. But it's of course it's up to you because it's your project. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at the options here. Like, we could definitely sell it, but it's to what real end on our side? Do you know what I mean? Like, unless we were going to sell thousands, it wouldn't exactly make the association, you know, much money, or myself, even if I was to do it. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a lot there. I'd rather get into people's hands, I think.
yeah, correct. I completely agree with you, especially for at this stage of the project. Yeah, could be like an option for the
I
open
mean,
source.
we could always, yeah, go ahead and do a Satori branded one, and you know,
Yeah, that would be
provide a
nice.
3D
Nice.
printed
Yeah.
with it, and provide something else with it as well. So, but I mean, if we want to, we can basically get this out to people now so they can start making them. I mean, I'd like to, if Meta didn't come on, so I was going to ask him if he wanted to fund getting them out to, a few of the lead people, get the hardware out to them, and then I can send them over the code so we can get people on them, testing them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll be trying to get him here today. So we'll see. He's very busy now with those new update, and kind of we can call them glitches in the
Yeah.
code. But that's normal with every big update. Will be have something kind of like issue happened last week with the wallets and all the transfer. I think so. He saw that now all the transfer from without ever more on the wallet. I'm not sure. I must check that with him. Yeah, how you guys see the new update? Are you like it with the new AI engine? Did you try them? Switch the neurons to the new AI engines?
I haven't actually.
Because I actually tried them in the first. Well, I actually running few neurons and they on the new AI engine. And what I can see from the user point when I start the new engine and switch to that new one, in like 10-15 minutes, the prediction start flowing and all the statistics and everything in the dashboard was straight away. So it's like you just wait 10-15 minutes on the running new neurons, and the new neurons is actually like full online and getting and making predictions. So that big step, because on some of before, what was like that, if your neurons pick up the streams that they have 6-hour refresh rate or 24 hours, you must wait 24 hours to get predictions, and go to the distributions.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at it in one of my pies. I want to turn it on. I don't want to break anything.
Yeah. Yeah, do the backup of your wallet and all the folders because I didn't test that on the Pi. I didn't test that on the Pi. I do that on the Linux. So yeah, on the Linux it's working fine. On the Windows is the same. So, but you can test it on your Pi. Yeah, looks like we'll have very quiet meeting today because Christmas or 13 Friday 13. Who knows? One sec.
Can you guys hear me?
And now,
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Those are they even LCD or what are they?
no, they're e-ink.
E-ink. Okay. Okay, yeah, I remember your post from 4 months ago, and you were, your prototypes, I guess, at the time, back on the forums. But and it crossed my mind when you were mentioning potentially, giving some out or whatever. I think, or the instructions. I think people, especially a lot of us, are kind of like do-it-yourselfers, and we like tinkering with stuff. I would probably not know how to assemble one, even though I'd probably try. But I think that there are quite a few of us would, especially in the influencing department, even if there were just 10 or 15 out there, whether we bought them off of you or, you told us exactly what to do. And I think with people maybe, promoting it on their own and be like, oh yeah, come check out Satori and also check out this, even though I think it would potentially help drive possibly more usership, just from a different angle. Like, not that Satori doesn't speak for itself because the project's just phenomenal all around, but it could just be an added, bonus for people, who are maybe on the fence or something. And I mean, they are super awesome, and I'd love to have one. But if I did get one, I would tell them, even though I only have 20 followers on, on whatever, the platform is, Twitter, X. I would totally post it, maybe even a little, do a little, not a tutorial, but a something, and type in, Satori technology, some kind of whatever the heck. But I think letting the world know about them, even if they're not for sale, I think it's just super cool because it's super awesome and you're really good at stuff. So I don't want to just, to sit on your desk there. But anyway, and the new AI
I mean,
engine thing.
I use one. I use one for my ticker. So
You do?
it's,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Because I'd like to, yeah, no, I'm just blown away. And you said it's e-paper? Is that the technical term?
yeah.
Electronic
So
paper?
it works when it's turned off. So
Okay.
as I was showing, they were powered off and they're just
Yeah. Like somebody wrote on a piece of paper with pen. That's so crazy. Just the digital version. That's wild. And then regarding the new AI engine thing, I ran it on my home computer, maybe one of my work computers. I think I have it going still. And definitely, it does start making predictions a lot quicker. I don't, even though most of my neurons are very old, so, but even compared, I mean, and shit's just firing away left and right. And I could see, different engines, the pipeliney stuff. It's definitely, I think it's super awesome, and I want to get more people's feedback on it. But I don't know. It's been kind of scarce lately, but maybe in the coming days or something, I'm just curious. Maybe there's stuff I'm not super technological, so there's probably stuff I'm missing, but it's super awesome, and I haven't had any problems, and it seems to be extremely efficient, at least from a user standpoint. I don't know what the hell goes on in the background. Like, I don't know where you guys even store information, if it's in the cloud or a database. I don't know, but I haven't had any issues, and I just want to thank and congratulate everybody who contributed to continuing to make this happen. And I'm going to shut up now. Thank you.
No, that's really good to hear that from you. Like, yeah, I didn't have problem with the last update for my neurons, and they running really well. But I know that some people are experiencing huge problems with them. I know that the Deadhead, you have the problem with the start neuron after the update. Did you start that?
What were you asking me? I just jumped back on.
Yeah, I was talking about the last update. I know that a few users have the problem with the update to the new version, and I know that you have the huge problem because your neuron didn't go start after update. Yes.
Well, I have two that are having problems. One of them I think is just the core files are having an issue and I'm just going to wipe it out and reload it. But one of my other neurons I was running with a little 32 gigabyte SD card seems to be having some issues with size on this new update.
Yeah, it's
Other
hard
than that,
yeah, hard to say. I'm not sure that 32 gigabytes because what I'm using, I just try set up the neurons on the minimum hard drive requires or what the user can use. to test that the new update will work smooth and fine. And my one is like, I have them even on the 10 gigs hard drives, few of them, and it works fine. So it must be something in your configuration anyway. But you know,
Oh,
you
let me
must.
see. Hold on. I actually have it sitting here. Let me. I'll tell you the error. I'm sitting here. Oh, well, I can't because I got the error now. And now when I wiped out the images, I reloaded them, started up Satori. It was having an issue. I went to reboot the machine, and now it's a busy box for some reason. And I had no idea. And I just I've been so busy this week with work, I haven't been able to really spend more than 10 or 15 minutes looking at something, so I can't dig into it. But tomorrow I plan to figure out what's going on with both of these.
Yeah, that's sure for sure. Yeah, if you have like, oh yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. If you'll be still,
Sorry, Will.
no, wake up call song.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm
back to
wait.
you, Deadhead. If you'll be having more problems tomorrow, just send me the DM or whatever. We can sort that together and see. Because if you have the problems, the other user will have the problems, and if we sort them now, we'll be know the patch why that happened for the future. So that's very very important to have those issues
Absolutely, yeah.
resolved.
That's why I hit you guys up first. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Enzo. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Will. Just about on my first coffee. So hard for me to get up at this time of day, man. But I maximum effort this morning.
I beat you up,
awesome.
man. That's unusual.
Yeah, well played, JC.
I was pretty happy with the V2 version of the AI. I had to send up a bunch of VMs yesterday and threw them on V2, and they were up and predicting within 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's fast.
That's correct, because they started predicting from the different way. Like, they taking the last good price, I think so, and they starting from that point. And that's the reason why it's starting predicting so fast. So that's kind of idea of that V2 engine. So, Enzo, any good news about your project?
I'm a lot closer than what I was last week, but it's still not polished enough yet to have even shown meta. So I'm still going to say before Christmas, and JC's helping me on it as well now. But it's not quite ready for everyone to use just yet. I don't want it to be like anticlimactic and not. I want it to be nice and robust before everybody sees it. But I'm not sure if people are aware what a RAG system is, but it's the pipeline of agents that I was talking about. And so at the moment, I'm just fleshing out each agent, doing so much. I've only got test data at the moment, but just doing searches on test data, fleshing out each section of this report that everyone will be able to see on whatever data stream they want, and making it as fast as possible. As you can imagine, when you just say you search in any data stream and you waiting for the report, as each job is it's not like a quick 2-second Google search. Like it'll return the data you already see on the website right now. Like it'll just show you a few data streams to click, and then the graph. But after that, depending on what agents that the user will tick, you'll have the option of saying, okay, I want the illustration agent to process the data. I want some pattern analysis. I want a trend analysis, etc., etc., etc. It's not all going to be price focused and stock markets and stuff, obviously, either. It'll be for all sorts of data, so you won't need a trend analysis for some things, for example. But say you tick every single box and maybe you end up running it through 10 to 15 different agents. It's not going to be a quick search exactly, right? So, but the good news is MVP is working, like minimum viable product is working. My job right now is to get it super polished and hand it over to Meta for grading. So far, it's just myself and some help with JC as well. But it's going to be awesome. It's really good. And I don't really see anybody else sort of like, there's a lot of work being done on LLMs and AI, etc. But I haven't really seen anybody else do it the way I'm about to do it. So hopefully it's going to be pretty exciting and really helpful. Like it'll play a big part of the public good that the whole idea of Satori wants to provide, right? If we can't get our users interpreting and using the data streams, the predictions from the data streams, then what's the point, right? So it's pretty critical. But yeah, getting very close, Will.
Yeah, that is actually like our bridge between end users and the Satori, like engine.
Yes, sir.
So that is the big step, yeah, milestone I will say, when that will be working and ready to go, and especially when we'll be integrate that with the new website that is just beside the corner, because I see new website is 99% ready and ready to be on. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I'd say I'll like, don't take my word as 100% yet. Meta will let everyone know too, or will obviously. But I'd say that yeah, once the LLM search side of things is ready, we'll be able to drop the website as well. That's kind of what we're waiting on right now. Unfortunately, I'm no longer in the position where I could just like stay up and code on projects like days straight without any sleep. I've got 3 young kids under 5, so but I'm doing the absolute best I can. And it'll all be open source code. It'll be on GitHub under the Satori Association soon, and everyone will be able to work on it, make suggestions, and see how it works. I'm sure plenty of people will grab it for their own projects as well.
Oh yes, that's actually normal. That kind of things will be happen. But
Yeah, I'm expecting it. I'm hoping so, right? Because then we can, well, something robust will start to be formed, and people will start to use LLMs a little bit better on a high level, hopefully. Hi, Meta. Good morning, good afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
I just maybe worry, but I know that this week and the week before was kind of quiet on the Discord and with the community. Everyone is waiting for the big thing to be show up and stuff like that. And when everything will be on the same time, all the our channels will be just explode.
yeah, it's gonna be one of those things that happens all at once, eh? And being the time of year, like a lot of people I know have already gone away for Christmas holidays and everything as well. So, but yeah, definitely exciting. I'm excited the most for the new website and everything because it's going to really show off the project and the value of our data streams and the value of everything of that Meta's been talking about. I read the Medium article last night too, by the way, which is amazing, really well spoken, really well written. Sorry, but yeah, we need to be able to show people that too, right? So it should be good.
Oh, it will be. Yeah, you wasn't here at the beginning. I started that we put that official Telegram group on, and we have 2 moderators that just monitoring all the Telegram stuff, and it's already over 300 users. So probably that will be erased again. And but our main channel is will be still on the Discord. So that's the kind of our main communication channel. But yeah, we growing. I can see that on the Twitter, on the X, on the Discord, and on the Telegram. So yeah, we're going in a good way.
I think at some point we might be able to set up a little bot that relays everything said in the Discord to the Telegram as well, maybe something like that, at least for one of the channels. Try and integrate everything a bit closer and tighter.
We can do something like that. I tried to do that on the Telegram, like comment them each other. Even I tried to do like when those our meetings, Friday meetings, stream on the Twitter straight away. But I have some problems with the hardware, so I must look on that closer. It's not transmitting the video anyway, so yeah, that's for the later anyway.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I wish I could tell everybody, and Meta especially, that today's the day. But let's try next Friday/Saturday for me.
We're waiting for the Christmas present from you.
Yes, I want to give.
Yeah, it will be really
That's
nice.
awesome. I talked to Jerome, and he wants to do a presentation for the community and for outside the community. So we can record that whenever, or I don't know if we should do it after the holidays or before. I don't know.
That would be awesome. I haven't heard from Jerome for a while.
Yeah, it will be like kind of we do that on the Discord, like on the stage, and he will be on the stage and we'll be listening to him, or you that want to do that, like record the just video and publish it.
Oh, I think on the stage would be better.
Yeah, so we can try get that. I think so on the after Christmas, like when everyone will be cooled down before New Year's Eve, and then maybe after Christmas, that would be good time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit quiet right now, just time of year, to be honest.
Good idea. Yep, we should wait.
So Meta, you want to say something about new update? What we have on this week, like?
Oh, the new update. So I think I gave the highlight kind of in the update that I do on Sundays, but it was a very big refactor. So a lot of things are way cleaner now, way smoother. Of course, a refactor always introduces a few little bugs, but we're working on those. I think they're mostly done except for this, the one where if you don't have Evermore, you might not be able to send. So we're still working on that. But the engine was all brand new. So that was kind of the reason for the update. And we put in a bunch of this, these refactors of other things. That the engine has this great framework. Now, I think I went over it last time. It's basically the same thing, but now it's actually pushed out there. And I don't know if maybe there should be a time when I do a video about how to make a model. If you're a data scientist, you can easily just get started, or a data modeler, and build your own models. But it seems premature to do that because the API, I'm sure, will change a little bit, and we don't really have a lot of great data at the moment. We have crypto prices, but we really want to be building a world model. So, so it feels like maybe once all those things are in place, then you make that, because then people can build their models on good data that's very useful. So I don't know. I'll probably do that maybe in spring or something.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking about that, keeping that transferring Satori from the wallet that you must keep Evermore. Are we not should we just include that is required and not going to that way to when we hold just Satori and send them from the wallet? Just we put the note that okay, if you want to send Satori, you must hold the Evermore, and that's it on the wallet. That would be easier way, and we solved a lot of problems with the transferring between the wallets.
That's true. It would be an easier way. It would be. And yeah.
I know Evermore can use a third-party wallet. Why don't we just set up all the neurons to use one wallet? We donate 100,000 Evermore to it, and all gas fees paid out of that one wallet.
I can still run the airdrops too. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's honestly probably not a bad idea. It's literally 15 minutes of GPU mining for myself personally, and I can airdrop every single holder a couple of Evermore. Like, it's not that big a deal. The first few times I did it, I sent too little because I was testing and I locked some people's buckets, the containers. So, but it was was good and bad, I think, because some people learned how to use their wallets properly, learned how to use the coin tab and Electrum, etc. It was good. But yeah, I don't know. I think Deadheaded's idea is not so bad, really.
Yeah, the Moontree wallet, the Magic wallet, will have a Chrome extension within a few months, probably sooner. But it will have a Chrome extension eventually, and then people could just use that Chrome extension instead.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
No, the Chrome extension I needed to make Squawker work 3 years ago.
Did you make a Chrome extension already?
No. Raven Rebels had one, but
I still use
you
it.
couldn't.
I got
Yeah,
it
you
right
couldn't.
now.
Yeah, you couldn't pull it into the website.
You have to
Does that make
embed it.
sense?
Yeah. So the way you set it up, it's open source. Anybody can use it, but you can reskin it too. But yeah, basically you're embedding it, so it still sits standalone within the website. It's kind of, not really sure what the word is to use, but like, yeah, it's not really how a typical wallet extension would work as from the perspective of your average user.
Yeah, and so
and entering BGT, and also entering like private keys. I think that should be abstracted from the user, especially like they're logging in, right? So I think it should just be a hash generated, and then like they're given a seed and a private key, and they don't even know about it. I don't know. There's a few ways to do that. Meta's the wallet expert too. So.
Yeah. So we use this private key just because it's easy and simple, but it's better to use the newer standards with the HD wallets, hierarchical deterministic wallets, because then you can have many private keys. But the standard says if you're using an HD wallet and there's value in the private key of the actual parent wallet, don't show that to the user. Don't look at it. Don't look for that value. Just treat it. Just look at the children. And so we had that problem where if you imported the Satori wallet using the words, that implies that implies a hierarchical wallet, then any other wallet doesn't actually look at the private key of the parent, and that's where your Satori is. And so it was showing 0 for people. So
that's what it was.
Yes, that's what it was. So either we need to get Satori to conform to that in its automatic generated wallet, which we could do, or we just say import the private key into whatever you want, and if we use something like Magic, where maybe we could make kind of a one-click button where it's like import into Magic, and then that way they don't have to know about or copy their private key. It just imports it automatically for them.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's this last week in particular. Like a lot of my like cousins and family and finally like eyes open to Satori and starting to mess with it and think. Yeah, and I just noticed things like this. You know, like they're kind of people that rely on me their entire lives to like help them log into accounts and all the normal stuff that you expect. And yeah, like it wasn't. It's definitely there's a technical barrier to entry for Satori, right? And like that's a good thing too, right now in these early stages. But at some point, yeah, we need to make a shift to make it easy for your average Joe.
Right. Yeah. And I've been trying to do that since the beginning. So, but
I think it's perfect. as it is right now, in our situation, I think it's perfect. I'm not whinging, just FYI.
The solution that you have with the private key does solve a lot of problems that I had with Squawker, in that with Squawker, you needed to send your tokens from an address back to that address. And so with a hierarchical wallet, it always wanted to send change and stuff back to a different address automatically. And so with just the private keys, you're keeping all of that in that one address space, so that you can actually look it up on the blockchain and know where, know that those tokens are at this address, which is associated with this wallet. Going with a hierarchical wallet, you would run into some of those problems where tokens just get lost off into Neverland. So.
Oh yeah.
We had a little. I had a little bit of that with my Magic Wallet because I did import my private key from one of my neurons, and that neuron was staking to a pool. And when I pulled like 4 or 5 Satori out of that neuron, the Magic Wallet moved a ton of Satori out and then back in. So it looked like I still had it there, but it moved it to a new address. So that was not being staked anymore. So that's just one thing to remember when you guys are integrating the pool. I know you and I and all about that.
Yeah, so that's always the trick with user-friendly stuff. It's like you have to obfuscate how it works, and then that can cause trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Feature's great for a wallet, just not for moving Satori if you're trying to keep the right amount in the neuron. But it's great for the security for the wallet. I love the fact if I send tokens or Evermore out, a lot of it goes to a different address, but it's still in my wallet. I'm happy because it does give you more security on the blockchain.
That's true.
This is why I wanted to get pay to asset hash going, because you could then have a default address, but that that token could be stored at a different private key each time. So it would move to the different addresses, but you would. So basically, the way that pay to asset hash works is the same as when you're generating an asset, a sub asset, really. When you're generating a sub asset, you have to have that asset, the parent asset, as part of that transaction to prove that you own it. And then, so pay to asset hash would basically just use that asset token, that root token, to sign the transaction, just like you're creating a sub token, but in this case, it would be spending a token. And it allows you to basically create a account-based structure, unlike the address base that we have now, but it would have the same UTXO address-based protections. That makes sense.
That's pretty cool. It's all theory, though, right?
I've been waiting for BGT to produce page script for 3 to 4 years now, I think. Come on, mate, do it.
Well, I was looking at pay to script hash on Ravencoin, but pay to asset hash, I just haven't had time to do it with the Satori pool and all of that stuff.
I'm just rolling you up. I definitely understand.
Unknown caller. Hello?
Oh, Ramps is popular this morning.
Who's calling?
Yeah. That pay to asset hash, it sounded pretty interesting as an alternative to multi-sig.
Yes.
For that.
Well, you would also want to use multi-sig with it. And so you could have recovery address is abstracted behind a multisig. And so you would have your token, but then you would have like your main token, but then your token that you actually use would be one token removed. And so you'd use your use token to sign for your main token, to sign for your transaction. But what that could allow is that your use token, you could have a sister token to it that could have a multi-sig address behind it, so that you could have, your friends that have, 6 or 8 friends or whatever you want, have a multi-sig asset, that they can all come together and sign for that to recover your main token and all of your wallet.
Gotta build it. Sounds awesome.
Yeah, at this point, I'm
Wouldn't
just
that,
trying to farm it out.
yeah, yeah, wouldn't that allow you to also do like proof of ownership with not keeping the token in the same address? Or, and if, let's say you could have payment addresses that you could publicly put out there, but wouldn't necessarily have the, whatever's being sent there in that address, but you could prove that address, and that way giving you more security. So basically, kind of hiding where your tokens are.
Yeah, you would actually put the tokens at the asset hash, however you wanted to determine what that asset hash was. And then you would have your signature token that you would use to sign to prove that you own it. You own that asset hash. And so you could, and that token used to sign would transfer to different wallets, so that it would, it would have that protection as if those, as if that all of those assets had moved to that key, but you would just use that key to sign with your use token for your actual wallet. And there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. But like Meta said, it is technically theory at this point.
Right. So when we start about transfer from wallets, Satori from with Evermore, I actually like that idea that Deadhead give about the main wallet with the Evermore, and that would be like wallet for the gas fee, for the Satori transfer, and that's it. That's very basic, resolve all the problems for the typical users, and yeah, it is some kind of solution about what we have now.
And isn't that basically what the Mundo server is that we're using now? I mean, technically it's taking a one fraction of a Satori, but I mean, isn't that under the hood what it's doing?
Yeah, I think so. So it says, your neuron says, hey, I need to make a transaction, but I don't have any Evermore. So it goes out to Mundo and tells it what it wants to do. I want to make a transaction to send to this address and whatever. And then Mundo says, okay, I will reserve some Evermore for you. And here's a partially signed transaction or whatever. Just finish it up. And then the neuron will complete the signing of that transaction, give it back to Mundo. Mundo will sign its input, which is the Evermore, to pay for the fee, and then we'll broadcast it. So that is kind of how it works. I think I know what's wrong with it right now. So it might be the case that I can get it working right now and it won't be a problem. But I'm still kind of looking at it to make sure.
Yeah, that was the main problem with the last update, because the rest is like the update was really smooth, and like I say, I didn't have any problems with the change version of my neurons.
Neither did I.
Yeah, they go really smooth, and even auto update on my server is doing around 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I even didn't check it when was that done. I just log in and I say, oh, it's 0.3 and everything works fine. So it was even really hard to catch me all the problems, especially when you log into the vault and do the transfer. So
I had a little bit of hiccups right before the update, but once the update went through, everything was smooth.
Oh, cool.
I've had Ever in every single one of my vaults since launch day. So yeah, I didn't realize the problem either until obviously a few people came through with it on Discord. I've no issues on my end. I still think I still think we should probably use Ever more like that too. I don't know, obviously it's up to you, Meta, but I agree with it being a lot easier, and just helps people understand that, hey, we're on this chain, and that's how it sort of works.
yeah, like if we put that like note information, okay, if you want to transfer Satori, you must keep Evermore in your wallet, and that will be like the Monta server will be gone. We don't need it anymore if we put that note, and the people will teach people how to use it. The same like on the Ethereum network, you must have Ether to do the transfer.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same about that.
Good point.
The only thing I say about that is, if we are going to go to requiring Ever, then I would like to see it be a full service wallet where it can also transfer the Ever, because right now you have to send everything to get the Ever out of the wallet from the web UI, but also like be able to see your other assets that are at that address and send them also.
Or we can do like I just have an idea right now. Like if you have like 0 Ever on your wallet, we just put the button there, like climb one Ever from our wallet.
Yeah.
Since straight away.
Yeah.
A lot easier than distribute to all the wallets, because some of them are not use it. And
that's interesting. You just gave me an idea. Like, we could implement a simple faucet that like releases a certain amount of Ever to each user, like every week or every day, even. That they can claim it sort of whenever they want. It just sort of stacks up. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So you mean like at the time of sending?
Yeah.
I think a button in the UI is genius.
Well, obvious. Yeah, that's the better way to do it. Hey.
I mean, wouldn't it be simpler that all Neuron wallets use one central address for gas fees?
I'm not sure.
That's just that nobody has to do anything. I know it has the capability. We've done it with Ravencoin. Push did it for a little bit on something with Evermore.
What
and
stops me of using that? But like, someone's gonna set up a script to just transmit.
Send 1 million transactions from your Neuron wallet to another Neuron. How are you gonna? You're gonna abuse the gas fees with your Neuron wallet?
Well, why not?
How would you do that? How would you exploit that? How is that more exploitive than me giving you Evermore? And gas fees are nothing. You'd have to send 1 million transactions.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'll donate 100,000 Evermore to the wallet. That should take care of transactions for all the Neuron wallets for a long time, right?
It would.
Yeah, it would.
I'd
You only
happily
got to do
donate.
the update. Yeah, and you only got to do the update to the Neuron wallet, right? Nobody else has to even see anything. It's seamless. Nobody, no users even have to know what's going on. I got to drop out for 15 minutes.
The design there sounds like somebody doesn't have any Evermore. They go to send. The neuron detects that they don't and just sends a request to the faucet. Give me a little Evermore. And it sends it over.
Yes.
And then it can just do a normal send from its own wallet. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That kind of, yeah.
That's a simple solution. I think what Deadheaded was suggesting is basically the wallet creates the transaction itself and then sends it over to the gas wallet to use the gas to send it. If I'm understanding that correctly.
Oh, okay. So a streamlined version of Mundo. Got it.
Where it just signs it. You don't have to. You don't have to have that negotiation ahead of time with Mundo. It would just be, I just catch the request, sign it, and send it.
That's a good idea. And he said Push already did something like this?
Yeah, Push has done it multiple. Oh, yeah, I'll have a chat to him about it.
Yeah, if he wants to do it again, that'd be awesome.
And Meta, are you know how many neurons are running on the new AI engines? Are the user are testing it, or is just like they still on the old one?
I am not capturing that metric. It's probably a good idea.
I've got a couple hundred running on the new one.
Yeah, I got a couple hundred running on experimental as well.
And it seems just fine.
Really quick, yeah, like instant. No worries at all.
It should make predictions much sooner.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, I got my
Mine
neurons at
definitely
5
does.
minutes before.
I'll admit, I do it too. Mine definitely does.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I got my. It was probably 15 minutes before payout, and they were already making predictions, so everything got paid out. I mean, at the low income price, but or low. I don't
With
know,
all
new neuron price.
With all this talk of chains and blockchains and stuff, I wanted to get the feeling of the group of how we feel about a bridge to Ethereum, because I know we've been talking about it for a long time, the community. And there were times when the community was saying, we really want a bridge, like we want it. But what do you guys think of that?
Myself personally, I think it's far too expensive to even consider an Ethereum bridge. I sort of understand the need for it. But one thing I notice is that everybody wants a bridge. But if you ask them, okay, for what use cases, they go quiet. I think one of the fork EVMs, like Polygon, is very cheap. I think we could do it somewhere a lot cheaper first. But yeah, I think there should be a solid use case sort of discussed, and like we see, I don't see the consensus on the bridge. I hear a lot of people just say the bridge word, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so you would think if we did a bridge, we'd go to a layer 2 first, like Polygon. Would Polygon be your first choice?
Yeah. It would be, but that's simply for ease. Like, it would be a lot easier and cheaper is my reason for that. Otherwise, obviously, Ethereum is a far bigger chain, and it has the consensus at the moment. And if it wasn't an issue with the gas fees and how expensive it is to use RAR, then obviously you would just do Ethereum first.
What's the use case? I mean, is this so that people can trade Satori?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, because
Yeah,
I
more
mean,
or
I always
less.
thought of Satori. Yeah, I mean, to me, and I'm a purist and I'm a maxi, I have to admit, the Satori token to me's usefulness, is in voting power. Not a
Yeah.
trading token. It's a utility token. It's great that I can sell some for money. Don't get me wrong. But there's 200,000 out there. What? 250,000 is authorized now, or however terminology. I got to look it back up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right.
There's 10,000 free liquid, and that's on Safe Trade. So what they're going to pull it off Safe Trade and put it on Ethereum, or bridge it over to Uniswap or Sushi, whatever those things are. I don't use them, so I think I've made my thoughts in the past. I don't use anything Ethereum. I don't believe in the chain. I don't believe in the technology. It does nothing for me, and I don't use blockchain necessarily for trading. That's not the, I like it for the technology, not for stocks, speculation. But if there was a usefulness of it, you can tell me that, hey, this is going to bring 200,000 people to start building neurons or whatever. I'd say, yeah, go for it. It's great. But again, we need to have the scale there. Once we're ready to go to, once they're ready, we're ready to throw. And I don't think I keep trying to tell people, hey, we're going to go to millions of neurons in the future. At least that's what I read. I'm not trying to speak for Meta or anybody else here because I don't know.
That's true, Deadhead. Yes, sir.
That's always what I read. That's where the goal is, and eventually that's going to mean no staking. Then we're going to need bigger exchanges. We're going to need bridges because we're going to need all of a sudden we're going to need a lot of more places to trade this token, and then hopefully by that time people are going to say, wait a minute, I can use that token to direct the prediction powers of this massive AI, then I need that token for the utility of it, and it has worth. Or if you hold them, as I've always said, I want to sell my votes.
I think that'll be a big one. Yeah, so do I.
So I think rather than if we're talking about a bridge, we're talking about who? Meta, right? That's you putting all your time into that. Or not all your time, but that's a lot of your time in that. We still got Magic, which Zoth is working on. You've got so much work here to do on Satori. I've had a couple of ideas and I want to get them implemented, but I need to build them because asking your guys' help is taking away from the core project. And I think, in my opinion, a bridge does that. Takes away from the core project at this time.
I would agree with that.
And there's no liquidity with the bridge. There's nobody that's going to put Satori onto the bridge to provide any semblance of liquidity. Okay, maybe you'll get a couple thousand, but that couple
4,700 holder that's keep shifting around pools, man.
Yeah, it's like a different scenario, but it reminds me of everyone's like, we need another listing, and then we list on Trade Ogre and nobody uses it. It's like, yeah, we need to direct our efforts where they're most valuable right now for the vision of Satori.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Yeah, I like the technical.
The other problem is
we don't
that
need...
you can't use the Satori once it's on a bridge. Like, you can't stake it. You can't get advantage out of it. I mean, it's the same thing if it's on an exchange, but that's why I wouldn't want a bridge, is because, yeah, if the bridge could be used and keep the Satori in my pool and I could use it, still over there, then okay, that might be, you might sell me on it, but just having it sit off in some wallet doesn't interest me at all.
So as long as the token, wherever it is a fully legitimized Satori token, it can vote, it can stake, then you, I guess it sounds like you wouldn't really mind where it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would more want to have like a proxy token that that you could then pass around, rather than have an actual Satori, and then have the proxy token sit in a wallet, much like I did with the stake Satori when I first started my pool.
By proxy token, are you talking about kind of the idea of the nifty Zen token that they were kind of 1-to-1 or something like that?
Yeah, the 1-to-1 tokens that I had with the staked Satori, like the actual token staked _Satori.
You're not using it anymore, though, right?
No, I'm not. I don't want to do custody.
Yeah, good man. I respect that, by the way. I think it's very important.
Just so everybody knows, he held several hundred of my tokens that way, so he definitely had my trust. But yes, I agree. I like this new way better. Can I ask, has Hans gotten P2SH done for assets on Evermore?
Yeah, that was part of the original release.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's active. That means
Yeah.
Evermore is on Atomic Dex, Komodo's platform. The only reason we never could get assets on there with Ravencoin is because there was no P2SH. That might be if you want a DEX, that's the place to go. Because then if we can get them anybody could create a token or list a token on Atomic DA or Komodo's new platform, I think is what they call it. If we can get them to do assets, now that we have it has the technical capabilities to do it now. That seems like a better exchange to me than a bridge.
That was the original plan. We were planning on getting it on that place, Komodo or whatever it's called, as soon as we could after launch. But then Safe Trade listed us without me even knowing, and so we kind of dropped that because we were like, oh well, I guess we don't need it right now.
Yeah, that would have been yeah, you're right. That's great. That's a good, but of course, if you could get Satori on there, that means you get all the tokens on there from Evermore. So we might as well involve both communities.
Yeah. Good point.
Then I could sell my scam certificates.
Oh, God.
Come on, that's the greatest meme ever. Buying the scam token on Evermore.
No, dude. To me, it reminds me of the Kung Pao movie where he gets trained backwards as a joke. What are you doing for the community, you know? Educating on a safe scam?
I just want to offer scam loans.
I'm still proud holder of my scam tokens. Thanks, BGT.
So,
Let me
Meta,
check.
if you're asking about the breach, so how far are we from there? Like, if is the point to finish that breach, or where we are now?
Well, I looked into it. The hardest part is the custody part. And so if your bridge holds custody because it takes the token. And so I looked into it and it was really hard to get around that, but I found a way, and then it becomes, oh, well, we have found a way to implement a bridge if we want one. And so that's why I was asking, like,
Right.
how we feel.
We need to find our biggest voices advocating for bridges and say, okay, show us specifically why. If we can find enough good reasons, then I guess, you know. Otherwise, then it's something that is not a priority right now, at least.
Like, we have two type of the community now. So one is like we are here, most of them, I presume, that Satori is something bigger, and we build Satori for the project and for the future and for the years. And the other part of our community will be saying, okay, we need a bridge. Why? Because they need the dollars, and that's how this works. Like, so they will be pushing on that way to go.
So they want to
And
trade it.
yeah, exactly. And the both ways are completely fine, completely okay. If they want to use Satori like that, that's fine.
Except if they're pump and dumpers, I would say. But yeah, you're right,
Of
Will. There
course,
is two different types of people.
So, and we are here thinking about future of Satori, but we still must think about the users who come here and want, support project, spread the word about Satori, bring more users, and do some money on that. So this is two type of the people here.
Well said. It's true.
And actually, one sample is like BTUI. It's the same way. You're here for the project, but it's nice to give some cash for your wife.
I have no intention of selling Satori. I don't want to deal with the tax man.
Meta, let me ask you, how do you see this when you're able to scale the project? Or do you see it going up in steps, 25, 30, 50, 100, or do you see it that when you get peer-to-peer done, that you're going to be able to open it up to say hundreds of thousands or more? How do you see the progression? And no, this is coding. Can't give me a date, but 2, 3, 5, 6 months. What are we looking at?
The fun thing is I can't give you a date, and I can't even give you a guarantee on the set of features either. So it's wild. So, but there's a lot of bottlenecks, and we have to take care of each one of them one at a time, or, probably one at a time. We probably can't get them all fixed at the same time. So if we could, then it would just be infinity, overnight. But that's probably not going to happen. So I would assume that it's stair-stepping. I can think of two right off the top of my head that are really easy to explain and understand and everything. One of them is the database bottleneck, and which can be improved over time. But we are doing the scoring of predictions in a centralized manner because it's too hard to score at this moment in a decentralized manner. So not just because of the peer-to-peer is not complete, but the actual problem of scoring is a difficult incentive problem. So that means we have to bring all of the predictions into a central place and manage them, which we can do. But that's a bottleneck. So it's one that we have to handle. Another one is, let's take, for example, the way we implement our peer-to-peer. If we've been looking at WireGuard, it's really promising. We found other projects that have, there's not many, but that have our same setup of running inside of a Docker container, which introduces a double net and other issues. So it makes peer-to-peer even more difficult. And we found some that solved this problem in various ways. So we have things to go off of. But one of them that we found that was almost very similar to our setup used a paid service because they only have 200 nodes. And so they have this weird paid, it's called zero tier, paid service that they pay for each one of their nodes on a monthly basis or something like that. And that just wasn't an option for us. But so that's why we've been looking into WireGuard and some other solutions. And if we were to use WireGuard in its simplest way, we could only have like 60,000 neurons on the network. And if we get more sophisticated, then we can have more. But WireGuard is a VPN, and you could only have that many because there's only that many, I believe, IP addresses in the range that's available. So anyway, the point is, we'd have multiple bottlenecks, and those are two examples of bottlenecks. So you could imagine if we took care of the database problem enough to service 100,000 nodes, we might still have the WireGuard solution problem, which could limit us to like 60,000 nodes. So it's definitely going to be a stair-stepping process. We think, as far as timeline goes, we think we can have a peer-to-peer thing set up in spring. So that's our timeline. Hopefully in winter next year, the January, February. But if not, then probably March. But that's still, we still have the database bottleneck. So even if we get peer-to-peer working, it'll be in a state where we're testing it out, making sure, and getting all the histories. That's kind of really the next step, is making sure all the histories on data streams are always synced, and that you can get those real-time updates, not through the pub sub servers like we're doing right now, but actually through the peer-to-peer. So that would be our first goal before we care really about scaling, is just getting our existing infrastructure onto peer-to-peer.
Okay, a couple quick questions on that. The WireGuard thing that's more of a user intelligence thing, whether anybody can go and open up a node on open up a port on their router, right? If everybody knew how to open up a port on the router, that wouldn't be an issue. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the database limitations right now with a centralized database? What are we looking at that you could reasonably manage at a reasonable price with the current database structure you're limited to?
20,000.
20,000, yeah.
Okay, so that's the 20. Okay, so the current 20,000 is the database limit.
20,000 reliable. I'd say like we could obviously push it, but I think it starts to break down at around 40,000.
That's what we saw.
I mean, you could pay for more service and do all that, but money could scale that, but that's not solving the actual problem. So,
Right.
okay.
Well, it creates more problem as far as bandwidth goes. It just makes it worse, really.
Meta, did you have a chance to look at the distributed SQL that I found for you?
I didn't look at it.
Basically, what that would do is it would have a API on the master node, and all of the replicants would come and check in with the master and try to make database changes through that API, and then they would pull out the changes out through that API. So if you were able to implement that and just use the database API as your peer-to-peer layer, you would then be able to give your histories through replicating that database, and then locally you could have a replication of each of those databases. So you'd want to have each stream be its own database, and then have the Oracle or whoever's the main holder of that database would then propagate that out to everyone, and that would distribute it all out. And if you wanted to tier that, you could have it so that the history databases are first on the centralized server, and everybody goes to the centralized server to talk and do the read writes to the database, and then eventually move that out to wherever the feeds are coming from.
Yeah, I hadn't looked at that yet because it seemed like it was a layer higher than we're focused on right now. We're just focusing on getting the machines to be able to talk to one another first, and then the API layer after that, maybe after the mesh network layer. But it seemed like it was up there at the API layer, and therefore not something that could solve our immediate problems. So I didn't look at it yet.
Well, it would be at the API layer, but I mean, what we're needing to talk to each other for is the database information, right? I mean, is there more than passing on the histories and predictions?
Yeah, so when I kind of just glanced and noticed that you'd have to replicate it up to a main server, I thought, well, that wouldn't really be no different than what we could do right now. We could have the server save all the histories, and then you could go to the server and get it, so I thought, well, we really don't want that at all. We don't want the server to have to save that kind of data at all. Now, it might be the case. Here's kind of the plan. Now, I don't know if this is the right plan, but we do have a plan. This is the plan. If we want to be able to save data, we want the neurons themselves to save all the relevant data that they care about. And what they'll care about is data that they have to prove actually happened in the past at some point. And so we will probably have, and probably always have until it's maybe its own efficient blockchain, but we will probably have all of the neurons send up a hash of their daily predictions or something like that every day and make a Merkle tree so that we can always in perpetuity say, oh, if you want to know if this data was real, we at least keep the Merkle roots. And that's, we can put that on the blockchain. We can do whatever we want. So that's how we could get to fully decentralized. If all of the neurons keep their own data, make Merkle trees of that data, we make a master Merkle tree on the chain itself. And then in the future, if you want to know, did this neuron make these predictions last year? You can ask that neuron, did you make these predictions last year? And it can provide proof that the data you have or the data it gives you it was really generated at that time. So that's kind of the plan. Long term, it's fuzzy and hazy, but the main components I think would work.
So I get what you're saying, and that's why I kind of wanted to look at like the SQL, the distributed SQL, because that would be for a specific data feed. And so each of those neurons would hold a copy of that database that they're working with. And then, as they make predictions, they would sign the prediction, and that would just be another field in the database row that they're writing. And so then you would have all of those predictions for that, database with, sign off on, I did this. And you would just basically, so let's say you have 5 feeds. You would have 5 databases, and that would be the way that you would keep your data. But you would also have all of everybody else's data, so you could query against your own database when you're doing predictions and stuff. But as you're making updates and that kind of stuff, you would send those updates to the central server, which would then, not central, but the central for the for that feed. So whoever's providing that feed could be the central holder of that database, and then they would be the traffic cop of making sure that all of the reads and writes got in there correctly.
No, I get it. That could be the right way to go. It totally could. It seems like it's an efficient way to manage the data on disk, and it feels good. But I don't think we should evaluate it or commit to it right now, just because we're not at that level of development yet.
I mean, I guess I'm trying to figure out what other problems are you having to solve beyond just the sharing of predictions and data and the storage of the histories?
Well, I think once we get past this part of saying, are these neurons can talk to each other directly without any need to go through any other neuron or any other central server or something like that. I think once we get to that level, then we'll be ready to investigate this further.
In not having to NAT your firewall is great and all, but I think that's a pretty low requirement for running a neuron at this point.
Yeah, and some people will have to because they'll have even more complicated setups or whatever. And so
sorry, can I jump in there quickly? I mean, some people are sitting behind CGNAT and they don't know. And so even if they map the port, it won't work. And a lot of what we're trying to do would jump past a lot of those hurdles for people that wouldn't even know they had a hurdle until we tried to get them to fix it. I mean, that's what we were looking at. Part of why we were looking at the way that we were doing it was to beat a lot of the problems that we would have. And it's not just mapping ports.
Yeah, and this area is not my expertise. So I have a very fuzzy view, but it's good that we have people like you and others that can kind of look at it and see it very well.
It's definitely specialist work. So is databases, right? Like most IT guys, from my personal experience, I've seen it over the years. Like most IT guys fail the database courses. They'll shine in every other area, but when it comes to databasing,
It's true. It's true. I had a learning curve myself, so yeah.
Yeah, databases are not. Well, they're simple, but they're not simple.
That's yep.
At Overstock, I basically was in charge of running all of their databases. So, baptism by fire.
Just don't let enterprise
Not
touch
Oracle,
your database, or anyone with
else.
enterprise in their name, or anyone who thinks they're enterprise. Don't let them ever touch your database, ever.
So we have any more topics for today meetings or
questions?
Yeah, questions. Or are we done?
I got a quick question. As far as and this is way above my pay grade, but as far as when neurons sharing information or data streams, have you guys looked at Hashgraph, which is basically using gossip and gossip about gossip protocol? I don't know if that's relevant to in this situation.
That's I did a few changes on it. So look, I made it show a lollipop. If you've got a lollipop.
Are you the guy that sent everybody lollipops?
I wish.
Just to answer your question, Deadheaded, I'm not aware of it personally.
I'm aware of it. Hashgraph is such a cool algorithm, and they patented it.
Oh,
Like
it
bastards.
must be good. Yeah, it must be real good.
Oh no, I looked into it. Yeah, that part about. I know it's Hashgraph itself is patented, but it can. Is there anything about the protocol that you could utilize, Meta?
Oh, I'm sure you could, but it's a way cool protocol. The way they come into consensus, it's pretty much the fastest way you could possibly come into consensus is what they have. But that's not really a fair comparison because they have to do it in a centralized manner. Which is okay for their use case and whatever. But I would love to use it. But yeah, it has those drawbacks of it has to be centralized. You could do it in a tiered manner, and I think there'd be a way. But I think what they did is they really stifled the innovation that you could build on this algorithm and make really cool stuff that was, even though technically permissioned, could potentially be very hierarchical and very, it could have a very wide flat base and therefore essentially look decentralized, act decentralized, except in the case of, criminal activity or something like that. It could basically be fine. And yet we haven't been able to do any, humanity hasn't been able to innovate on that algorithm because they patented it. And so we don't have any other solutions. I mean, I think it's a really powerful thing that could have been awesome, but they kind of killed it in the crib.
Is it worth having a sticky beak and obviously being aware though?
Thanks for the insight.
Yeah, I didn't even know about it. I'll do some research today myself.
Is there? I've got the screen showing there. Anything else anyone thinks they want on that screen that we need on it?
And the lollipop is amazing. Yeah.
I like it, JC. Yeah, it's looking really good now.
So are those the balances that you have in that wallet?
Yeah, that's using the crypto API default address, whatever is on there. It has a lollipop. That's why it's showing a lollipop. So if you have a lollipop, it puts a lollipop on there.
Oh, nice. Does anybody actually know what the lollipops mean or who really sent them yet? Is that whales being tagged?
I don't think so. Even I have one,
Yeah, I think it was.
Well, if the person that did it is in this chat, guess what? You didn't tag me. I don't have a lollipop.
I can send you one if you want, buddy.
No, I prefer to stay out of the radar.
Definitely not
Thanks, Wizard.
whales.
It's not? Okay.
No, it's not whales because I have it in neurons that have no story.
So probably age.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I think it
okay.
was. I think it's
that's
age.
your balance of Evermore on the screen.
Yeah, it's pretty good, eh? It's not mine. I wish I had that.
I don't think you have enough Evermore.
That's the Cryptoscope default API address. It has a lollipop and it has a lot of Evermore. It doesn't have any
okay.
Satori. So if someone wants to send some Satori to it, so I can make it show on the screen.
Oh, as if, man. Do you have any idea how valuable Satori is? Not sending it nowhere.
All right.
Well, actually, I got to top up all the neurons.
I have one JC question to you. How will we update them? If you
They're Wi-Fi. So, yep. So that board on the back there is 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi on board, and as long as it's powered, it'll connect every hour and then change that screen. That's the idea.
Oh no! I understand about the screen, but if you release new software version of that, change some graphics
So
or stuff
you
like
you
that.
just open up Thonny. So basically, you just use Thonny to push the MicroPython code to it. So you just grab the new script, open up Thonny, which connects to the device, click on the main, and then resave the data in there. It's pretty simple. I can show I'll do a guide on setting everything up, but it's just connecting to the Raspberry Pi Pico using a program designed for it, really, and pushing the code over to it.
I will put one on my desk anyway. So
Yeah, same.
It reminds me of the Box project.
Mm-hmm.
The Raspberry.
Exactly. That's the one.
Yeah, ideally, that's what I sort of envisioned, like Raspberry Pi Neuron with one of those sort of sitting at the front. Maybe I'd like to put in a server, like a Raspberry Pi server rack setup, and then embed that in the panel with your 5 or so Raspberry Pis. That'd be elite.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can put one of those on a Raspberry Pi. There's different screens, but they're different code. But the whole idea with this is it just runs off of that tiny little computer basically, and just
yeah,
updates itself. So now I've got it, because before this had to have like a server make the image. It's now doing it all on device.
Right.
Pretty cool.
So 384 kilobytes of RAM or something. It's like programming a fucking Commodore 64. Like it's everything's RAM limited.
Yeah. Going back in time.
Yeah.
That was my first computer.
and my
Yeah,
one
that
too.
was
I
mine.
had a Tandy extended color basic 128 at twice the RAM.
Wow,
Oh
you're old,
yeah, the
dude.
column, dude.
You're
Yeah,
getting old, man.
we had the Tandy 1000 and the C64.
Yeah.
We didn't have Tandy in the Europe anyway, but that's not the problem. We have other Soviet Union computers. But back to that
Sinclair and what else did you have
Spectrum,
over there? The BBC
yeah.
Micro, yeah.
No, that not to the Soviet Union. That was different part. That was England.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Meta was asking about the P box putting on the desk with that screen. That was nice idea, but I can't imagine the customer will be getting that Raspberry Pi box putting on the desk, and with that stage when we must change everything with each update. We'll be not like running out from the box solution for now anyway. Maybe in the future for normal user that I can see like someone order the Satori box, just plug in the LAN cable or Wi-Fi, plug the power source, and that's it. Running straight away, do the updates and showing the Satori how many Satori you have, and that's it.
Well, I reckon we could get these things I mean, if we're talking about like the actual cost of the products and getting the product to your door just from what's existing now, these would be like $35 US.
For the screen, for the e-paper, yeah.
Yeah, the e-paper
Yep.
screen and the device.
Not for a Neuron though. So
Not
the
for
box
Neuron.
is, yeah. You remember what the box idea is, though, right?
Yeah, the box is the full Raspberry Pi. That does the same thing. So.
Which I still think is super important, but like Will said, like while the floor, so to speak, is shifting, it's kind of hard to implement.
Yeah, it's a great idea to do that, but if some like end user just not technical buying and plug it and it's working fine, it's fine. But if something going wrong, we have some kind of problems to set up the neurons like our users and help them. And with the box out of the box, like Satori box, it would be a lot harder for now anyway. Maybe in the future we'll have like kind of update solution just for Raspberry Pi, and that would be ideal products.
Oh, that's a good point. I do build an image just for Raspberry Pi now. So I guess we're heading that direction.
Do you have metrics by any chance on how many are running Pis, or maybe we should look at that? I think there's quite a few.
I don't know. because I don't capture what it's on. I do, you know, when
Yeah.
your neuron checks in, it captures things like how much RAM do you have, or GPU or CPU, so that it knows what data streams you can handle.
Do you get
But
what actual CPU they are?
no, just kind of a number, and we just assume it's gigahertz, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but
okay. These are things that we can work through.
That's right.
yeah, those statistics like have the like how many Raspberry Pi is in the network, or you know that would be awesome. You can put that on the websites or Twitter. That would be a lot promotion for project for Satori, because I know the guys was putting the photos on the Discord that they have running 20 Pi farm. That was 2 3
Yeah, I've
months
seen
ago,
it.
and that was amazing. Like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree. I think we might even be surprised at how many people are running Pies. That's why I ask. I think it might be a high
I
number.
got 10 in a rack.
Yeah, I love that setup. I would love to be able to like, you know, e.g. my dad, he's, oh, all right, son, I want to do Satori. And I really don't want to try and explain it to him again. And it's like long conversation. It's really hard to have. I'd like to be like, all right, Dad, there's a Raspberry Pi Neuron in the mail on its way to you. When you get it, plug it in. See you later.
That would be
Yeah,
the
that'd
ideal
be awesome.
solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try explain to the like I don't know average person what is Satori like and how this works like and what is the AI neurons. That's completely different story. Like.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like they can be super interested, right? It's like, yeah, sometimes it's really hard. Like I struggle to explain what's going on. And then I'll send them the video of Meta talking about it. Oh, I really like the way that guy talks. And what do I sound like then? Yeah.
Well, let's. I mean, we'll release. We want to release this open source, you know, so we can just release this screen, get it going, see how people like it, and I mean, if it sort of goes off, we can push to make the Satori box. Like it definitely can be done. As we can offer a probably like a time. As I think Meta had said, like a time limited stake or something like that, potentially.
Well, I
With the
had some more
Satori box.
thoughts on that recently.
Yeah, I hadn't spoken to you about it, so I don't know what your newer thoughts are.
Well, I thought, let's say the association is staking and it gets up to its limit and it can't stake anymore.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, it could, but then it has to give that reward back, so it's kind of the same. So it would say, oh, well, we have all this extra token that we're not staking. You could put that on the Raspberry Pis and say, well, if you buy a Raspberry Pi or a box, you know,
Yeah.
then this
We
will
give you the
stake.
staking power. Yeah.
Yeah, we assign the staking power to that address or whatever. So that's
Well,
one
that
option.
makes them worth selling, Meta. Like that's something that we can turn around and go, okay, now we can buy that hardware and sell it with, you know, the profit needed to cover all of the things associated with making it happen, and get it to the people with them getting the piece of equipment and it's worth it to them. It's not just the hardware; it's coming with another value. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
but
So
totally.
you're going to need
And
to
that would
throw
help.
a,
Well, I was just
a
going to say
wallet
that.
on there also.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
the wallet.
You're
It
going
would
to have to
help
throw another
decentralize.
wallet on there too. Yeah.
remember at the beginning we have idea to the Satori box include the like kind of business card with a QR code that is your wallet, and on that wallet you have 1 Satori or 0.1 Satori and have the serial number. So that will be additional value to those products. Doesn't matter
Yes.
what products it will be. Yeah, it could be T-shirt with a Satori logo. With
I
the
mean,
Oh,
well,
yes,
even
please.
selling them with actual Satori, like, you know, remember Bitcoin? They did those devices early days that were, you know, they had a physical device that had Bitcoin embedded. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent to that type of thing.
That was the coin with the address. Yeah, I think so.
Anybody remember Ice Wallet Farms?
Yes. Remember
How
that?
dare you bring that up in here?
Yeah, well, you know, if that guy would get off his high horse, that product, which was developed and ran out of funding before released is still out there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
that's built
I
on
was
a
looking forward to
Raspberry.
it.
Oh, me too. And I had already had my stuff. I still use his products.
Yeah,
Has IPFS and the Mango Farms wallet. I just wish he'd adopt the EVR the way everybody else in it. A lot of the others in the community have.
yeah, I totally agree.
That's
Yeah,
But that thing's on a Raspberry Pi. The Ice wallet is the hardware behind it.
Yeah, so like you see, we have plenty of idea how to how to raise the Satori and how the project could be go what way, and just we need more time, to develop them.
It just sounds like a bunch of. You guys remember Helium?
yeah,
Still there though. Yeah, it just sounds like a bunch of Helium Raspberry Pis. You have it all set up, all reprogrammed in, and you can make a lot of money off that because there's a lot of idiots out there who have no idea how to even start Satori. And a plug and play option is super super easy and a great way to market.
yeah, I agree.
Well, let's yeah.
still-
Well, I'll open source these screens and we'll try and get these out there as well. We can also look at selling those. But if they're popular, then we can I reckon we just look straight towards making the pies.
The box, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying because they were selling pies when Helium was at its fucking high point. They were selling for somewhere between 900 to 1200 USD.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you're dead
Jeez.
right. Hey,
Yeah. And it didn't even come with any staking power or nothing. It just came
no,
with the
nothing.
monitor and you plug it in and you would only even be able to have one because it was worked off the same Wi-Fi. So there's people like popping up like one at their parents' house, one at their own house, and just trying to have a network of these things. Whereas Satori, you don't need that. You could, but I don't know. Maybe in the future they would, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, you could probably make a lot of money marketing that if someone were to do so.
Yeah,
I still
but
have
that
my
smell like
Raspberry
scam.
Pi. I still have my Raspberry Flash load for RVN that had wallet and it backed up the IPFS cluster and did a whole bunch of things. I think Push put it out. Yeah, it was Push Adam that put it out. But that would be a nice thing to have, just to have an image out there that people could load onto a Pi and get running.
Yeah, totally. And that's something, like you were saying, it could be very lucrative, but it's something that the association wouldn't do. Like other people could do it, you guys could do it, whatever, but the association couldn't do it. Now, the association has the goal, the mandate of making Satori as decentralized as possible. And this would help that goal because it opens the door for people who aren't savvy enough to run it themselves to download one or plug and play one. And so it decentralizes the network more. So the association would like this kind of thing done, but it's not worth doing at the association level.
I totally agree. And yeah, we don't want to. We're not looking to make a profit either, and we don't want to. We don't want to, and we can't start playing on that side of things.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Meta and JC. If that's your code, your project, if you want open source it, that would be perfect. That's
Yeah, I want to get into people's hands. I mean, there's, like I said, there's not even on these devices. There's just no profit in it anyway. Like, that I would worry about. So,
Yeah.
we can put this code onto. I'll talk to Meta later and I'll put it on the Satori
GitHub.
Association GitHub if you want. Do you want there or do you want me to release it on mine?
I think it could be on the association GitHub.
Yeah.
I mean, if I understand it correctly, it should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, I'll probably keep working that over the weekend and push that out with the hardware to get. And I said I worked out last night. I think it was like $28 plus shipping, so it's US. So for both
that's
the
awesome.
screen and the Pi.
And
I
it's no
think I'll keep
soldering or
going
anything.
with it.
Yeah, that's without soldering, so you can get it like a little bit cheaper if you want to solder it yourself.
Right.
Do those things use an SD card? What are they doing for?
No, no. So the Raspberry Pi Pico has 2 megabytes of flash on board, and that 2 megabytes of flash takes the MicroPython image and the Python file to actually do it, and it doesn't even use, a couple hundred kilobytes of it.
Pretty cool.
About a rechargeable battery and a little solar panel.
That's what I said.
Definitely
Yeah.
would work. The only problem is with the Raspberry Pi, their power control isn't there. So if we use something more complex like an ESP32, we'd get real good control over where our power goes. But this thing is going to draw, 1 to 200 milliamps all the time. Like I can't really control that, even though the screen's pulling nothing. The Pi itself just kind of pulls its base power all the time. It's not efficient. They might fix that in the future, but at the moment, at least on this version of the chip, you can't control the power properly. So, but the reason I picked this is because it's easy, not because I'd like those features. But then we're talking about a different chip, maybe a different form factor. I can't necessarily get the same type of screen. The
It's
code's
just geek
different.
out stuff.
Yeah, it's just you're changing things. Like, I mean, yeah, you can do it. Like mine runs off a Raspberry Pi Zero, so mine it's got an SD card, runs a full operating system, and it has an e-paper screen on it. But that's not necessary for what everyone needs. I'm trying to get to the minimum viable product that's like people could get this, and all they have to do is plug it in and load the firmware onto it. You know what I mean? It's if they could load Satori and Linux, they can do this. So.
Yeah, this is good for everybody. I understand. I like that.
It's really nice.
I need to figure out what figure out what to do with my Raspberry Pi 3 I have sitting around doing nothing now.
You can
Yeah.
still run it as a neuron, but they're a little bit slow for sure. It's painful to use the GUI, the dashboard.
No, I can't even get it to run on my 3.
You
It
can't?
run on my 4, but not on my 3. No, it wouldn't even go. But and to be honest with you, I didn't spend maybe an hour or 2 working on it. It wasn't worth that.
Do you know what the problem was?
Not now. It's been months. I tried to run it
Nah,
back.
all
That
good.
was probably in July. So, got my 4 running, no problem at all. Still running now. Several boxes running, several laptops running, Windows, Unix, Raspberry without a problem. But that 3 I couldn't get running.
Hmm. I'd like it to run on the 3s because they're obviously more easily obtainable worldwide for everybody. Might pull one out of a box and see if I can have a play with it. But they are obviously slow.
We could build a very, a specific image for the 3 or something like that. That's if it's got lower power or whatever, it only has one algorithm it runs or something like that. That's really simple.
That would be cool.
We
I
can
don't
do
think
that.
so. Is the problem with the image of the Satori is just about the Docker starting on that tree.
Oh, well, since it's in Linux,
But
we can.
exactly, I was
Yeah.
doing that before. Yeah, I just get out the Docker and just run the Satori without the Docker. Remember that at the beginning of the Satori box.
That's right. You just have to get the environment all set up.
That could be it exactly. Now,
Yeah.
having said that, I know you mentioned earlier you could kind of tell how many raspberries were running by the bandwidth. Maybe it would be a good idea to put some sort of tag on the neurons that lets you know what they're running on, or some information. Because as this thing scales up, you're gonna, and boxes are making more predictions. Also, if you make it for the Raspberry 3 and you see, 24 jump on the network when it's big, then you realize it wasn't worth it. Whereas you see maybe 2,000, when we're at 500,000, then it was worth it running those, for the Raspberry 3. I just say would help you gauge your work return better.
Totally.
That could easily lead to us being able to run a neuron on phones as well, by the way, which I do know somebody that tried it, but I never followed up. But it would be cool, a lot of people have old phones sitting around with decent CPUs in them.
That'd be a great way to build the network. You'd have too many.
Yeah, not right now. Yeah, no, but yeah, in the future.
Because then anybody, literally anybody, even so many people have cell phones nowadays, and if
even
you're willing
Nigerians.
to,
Anywhere, the poorest countries,
yeah,
right? They could still grab a phone.
that's what I'm saying. And if you're
Yeah.
willing to sell the idea of, hey, all I have to do is turn on this application on my phone and it'll make me money. What?
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of stuff excites me. That's when that's where I see the global neuron network. That's when it really comes to life and gets massive.
Oh, exactly. Well, then the Evermore aspect is using DeFi as well. So if we stick with Evermore, load on Satori, have your own application network, you can be able to purchase things with Evermore or Satori or whatever you guys want to do with for real world items.
Such a good idea.
Right, so it's 2 hours now on today's meeting. I think so we can slowly finish for today. What you think so, guys? Or you have anything more important to bring up?
All good from me.
So we can let Meta do the dev stuff.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, Meta, get back into work, mate. See you later.
See you next week.
We'll see ya.
Okay, see you guys.
Love you, dude.
Thanks for having this again.
Yeah, thanks, Will. Have a good day, guys.
No problem.
Cheers.
See you. Take care.